Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So like I promised in my previous video, today we are going to talk about proof of funds. I'm going to discuss in this video all you need to know about proof of funds in 5 different steps. First, what is proof of funds? 2, how much proof of funds do you need? 3, what should the proof of fund contain? 4, who needs to show proof of funds? And 5, who can provide you or who can provide proof of funds? So first question, what is proof of fund? So proof of fund is basically an amount of money or a document of assurance showing that you can take care of yourself and maybe your dependents, if you have any, in the USA for a period of 1 year after arriving in USA. The US Embassy always requests this document in order they want to make sure that when you come to the USA, you will not be a public charge. Public charge is like a liability, not having who will take care of you or not having what you need for your basic survival in USA for 1 year. And it's often for a period of 1 year. So this amount of money or this documentation showing that you can cater for yourself while in USA for 1 year is like an assurance that I'm coming to the USA and I have everything sorted. I'll be able to take care of myself and my family, if you have one, throughout my stay in the USA, and I will not be a public charge. Question 2. How much proof of funds do you need? This depends on 2 main things. First, the school you're going to attend, and second, if you're coming alone or with your dependents. So schools request different amounts of proof of funds. My school, UAB, requested $5,000 per dependent for the proof of funds. And it might be more, proof of funds might be more depending on if you're paying your tuition or not. So if you're paying your tuition, the school will tell you this is the amount of money that you need to have. So the school will tell you the global sum that you need. So the $5,000 I mentioned for my school is just for my dependents. I did not need to provide proof of funds for myself because I had a fully funded scholarship. But I needed to show proof of funds for my 5 dependents because I have my husband and my 4 kids coming with me, and I did not want to leave anyone behind. So if you're coming alone, then you show a proof of funds for 1 person and the school will tell you how much you need to show. If you're bringing your dependents, you have to ask the school will have to tell you, you need this amount of money per dependent. So you have to put this sum together to show it. And it's always safer if they say, okay, you need $5,000 per dependent, or you need, your proof of funds is $5,000. It's always safer to go a bit above, like show maybe $5,800 or $6,200. Do not show exact amount of money, just to avoid maybe doubts from the consular officer. So you want to avoid anything that can be like an eye-opener for them with respect to your documentations. 3, what should the proof of fund contain? So the proof of fund should practically contain a sum of money with respect to how much you're supposed to show as your proof of fund which is required from your school. You have to show this amount of money in a document that is like a bank statement. So we always call it bank statement. So there should be this bank statement that carries this amount of money, which is the amount required by your school. So this is what the proof of fund should contain. It should not be landed properties. It should not be houses. It should not be whatever. It could be a business showing that the revenue comes in and out often. So a business is fine. But a landed property, most often the consular officer wants to know that this money is readily available for when you need it. So if you're showing a proof of funds as a landed property and you need it for school, and to sell that property will take forever, the visa officer will not be convinced with that. They might not give you the visa because of that. But then if you show them that you have this amount of money maybe in the bank or in a stock whatsoever, they'll understand that this money is readily available. So the proof of funds is most often is better for it to be a sum of money. It can be if maybe your proof of fund is from a family member, it can be an assurance of their salary certificates showing that they are doing this job and the job is permanent and the amount of money that they earn is reasonable enough to be able to take care of you throughout your stay here. Now, for the fourth question, who needs proof of fund? So I've been doing a lot of research, and also from what I've gathered, proof of fund is required for anybody applying for US visa. Be it a student, you should show a proof of fund unless you have a fully funded scholarship where you don't need to show a proof of fund. It is needed by those who are applying for DV lottery. Those who got the DV lottery, they need to be able to show that during 1 year, they'll be able to cater for themselves with this sum of money. If you are coming on a tourist visa, you need to show proof of funds to convince the US consular officer that I'll be able to take care of my flight, my visa, my lodging in USA, my feeding, my trip, and everything else. So proof of fund is required basically by anybody applying for US visa. Those who might not need a proof of fund are maybe those who, like I mentioned, on scholarship, yes, and also those who maybe are coming for a job. If you have a job and the job is a permanent job and the employer is well grounded, as the employer is credible and they have good amount of resource, so you may not need a proof of fund. Instead, you will need a document from the employer, which is like an affidavit of support stating that this is a job I'm offering this person, and this is when they'll start working, this is when they'll start earning. So that will cover you up for the proof of funds. Otherwise, you need to show a proof of fund for anything else. I'm not sure if this is all, but if you have any other instances where we need to show a proof of funds, please leave it below in the comments. 5, who should show a proof of fund? So proof of fund can be provided by you, the visa applicant. It can be provided by your family. It can be provided by a household member or a relative. Now let's talk about proof of fund provided by you. This is the surest proof of fund because they know that it's yours, it's available. Once you need it for your school or once you need it for anything at all, you will readily take it and use. By your family member, like maybe your parents, this is also very assurable. This is quite credible because the consular officer will understand that yes, the parents are willing to invest this huge amount of money for their child to come to USA to study, and they'll do this willingly and they'll do it on time. You will not become a public charge because this money will not be dispersed when it is most needed. Third, the proof of fund can be provided by any relative, your uncle, your aunt, your whatsoever. But most often the US visa consular officers kind of find it a bit skeptical. I'm not saying it's not possible. No, it depends on how you state your point. So they find it a bit skeptical that an uncle or an aunt will want to disburse huge sums of money like 30-something US dollars, 40-something US dollars for you to come and study in USA. They might find this a bit skeptical. They might find it a bit unreliable. Although it is okay, if that's what you have, you need to be able to state your points very well and clearly so that you'll be convincing enough. But most often is surer and is better if your proof of fund comes from you or from your parents. But if it's coming from your uncle or aunt, you might want to prepare a very beautiful story, and that's why Funacare Consultancy does a mock interview in order to prepare you and to prepare this beautiful story that you can tell the consular officer as to why your uncle or your aunt wants to disburse up to thousands of US dollars for you to come to US and study. Also, it can be provided by maybe a school or an organization in your home country that are investing in your potentials and in your skills for you to come over to USA to study. This also is very credible, and they will easily give you the visa because they know that once you're done with these studies that is sponsored by your organization or your employer, you'll go back home to work with them. And like I mentioned, that is their greatest assurance that they want to get, that you'll go back home once you're done with your studies. So that's it for proof of funds. And thank you so much for joining us in our video today, and have a blessed day. Bye.